So imagine you're standing on a 150-foot suspended glass walkway.
Oh, definitely not for the faint of heart.
Right, no, absolutely not. But you're looking out over this sprawling, deeply historic city, and, maybe you're thinking about grabbing some artisanal cheese fondue in a rustic chalet room later on.
Naturally.
Yeah, but while you're doing all this, an active World War II bunker is just sitting quietly buried right beneath your feet.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, honestly.
It really is. Welcome to today's Deep Dive, everyone. It is so great to have you here with us. We are piecing together a massive stack of sources today.
Yeah, we've got travel guides, architectural histories, urban development studies, the works.
Exactly. And our mission today is to look at a city that honestly rewrites the rule book on urban survival. We're exploring Newcastle Upon Tyne, or just Newcastle, which is the unofficial capital of Northeast England.
It really is a remarkable case study in adaptation. Because, when you look at the raw materials of Newcastle's history, it's completely defined by heavy, grueling industry.
Oh, entirely. For centuries, this was a city famous primarily for exporting coal.
Right. And that brings up the central mystery we want to unravel for you today.
Yeah, how does a city forged in the fires of heavy industry, a place completely covered in coal dust and defined by intense manual labor, transform into a world-class hub for contemporary art?
And high-end gastronomy.
Right, and an incredible nightlife. Most places that undergo that kind of gentrification, they just completely lose their soul in the process.
Yeah, just pave over the grit, usually.
Exactly. But Newcastle somehow kept its identity intact.
Well, the key to understanding that transformation is recognizing that Newcastle doesn't erase its history. It physically and culturally layers it.
I love that idea of layering.
Yeah, we aren't just looking at tourist spots scattered on a map here. If you want to understand how a city's psychology is built, you really have to look at its timeline of human adaptation. Newcastle just constantly builds upon itself, physically and metaphorically.
And to really grasp what you mean by that, we have to start at the literal bottom. Before you get to the art galleries and the neon-lit kayaks on the river, you have to look at what the city is actually standing on.
You have to go underground.
Right. And the most visceral starting point for that is Newcastle Castle, which quite literally gave the city its name.
Though, to be fair, New is doing some heavy lifting there.
Oh, for sure, considering how old it actually is.
Very much so. The original Norman fortress was, it was a wooden structure built in 1080, but the imposing stone keep you see today was commissioned by King Henry II back in 1168.
Wow. So we're looking at over 900 years of history there.
Exactly. And it's crucial to understand that this was not some romantic fairy tale castle. It was a brutal, pragmatic stronghold.
Right. The sources were pretty clear on that.
Yeah. It served as the primary staging point for military invasions into Scotland. And it functioned as a grim prison where political traitors were held, tortured, and executed.
I was actually thinking about that exact contrast while reading the material. Because today, you can just stroll up the winding staircases, wander past the old dungeons, and just stand on the roof of the keep to take in these breathtaking 360-degree panoramic views of the River Tyne.
That's quite a shift in purpose.
Yeah, you were literally standing on a site of medieval torture to get a good Instagram photo. But that's just the historical surface. The layering gets so much wilder when we go deeper.
It really does. Let's drop 85 feet beneath the city streets.
Into the Victoria Tunnel.
Right. The Victoria Tunnel is perhaps the purest distillation of Newcastle's pragmatic mindset. This is a 2.4-mile subterranean tunnel constructed between 1839 and 1842.
And just reading about the scale of this thing is wild. It was built as an underground wagonway, right?
Correct.
Just a massive chute to transport coal downhill from the Lees's main colliery all the way down to the river.
That's right. The logistics of the Industrial Revolution really demanded it. The streets above ground were completely choked with traffic, so engineers just carved out this subterranean artery to move heavy resources efficiently.
Makes sense.
But the coal industry is volatile. By the 1860s, the colliery closed, the coal stopped flowing, and the tunnel was essentially sealed up and abandoned.
Which brings us to 1939. And this is where the history completely fascinated me. This tunnel is basically the ultimate civic multi-tool.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. First, it acts as the veins of the Industrial Revolution, moving coal. Then, nearly 80 years later, World War II breaks out. The Blitz begins. and this forgotten dark coal chute is suddenly cracked open.
Repurposed overnight, basically.
Yeah, transformed into a sprawling air raid shelter, protecting thousands of citizens from German bombs.
Notice how the city handles its obsolete spaces there. I mean, consider how many industrial cities across the globe just abandon their old infrastructure.
Oh, all the time?
They view it as a liability. They let it rot, or they spend millions filling it in. But Newcastle's instinct was to repurpose it.
To use what they had?
Exactly. The Victoria Tunnel transitions seamlessly from fueling the empire's industry to physically shielding its citizens. It becomes this geological record of the city's survival tactics.
It's literally a layer cake of history. But, I'm trying to picture the mindset of the people living through this.
How do you mean?
Well, you spend your days in the dirt, extracting coal, breathing in the soot. When a city is built entirely on that kind of grimy, hard labor, how do those people envision their own civic identity above ground? Because the sources show a massive aesthetic shock when you emerge from those coal tunnels into the Newcastle of the 1830s.
You're referring to Grainger Town, and the psychological shift there is really profound.
It looks entirely different.
Right. Grainger Town is the historic heart of the city center, designed in the 1830s by a developer named Richard Grainger and the architect John Dobson. And this wasn't just some minor facelift. It was an incredibly ambitious, deliberate project to entirely redesign the urban core.
And the architecture is stunning. I mean, you have Grey Street, which is lined with this pristine neoclassical architecture, curving gracefully down toward the river.
It's beautiful.
And sitting right at the top is Gray's Monument, this massive 135-foot column. And apparently in the summer, you can actually climb the 164 steps to the top.
You can. The monument is dedicated to Charles Grey, the second Earl Grey.
Which, side note, I had no idea was the actual Earl Grey tea guy.
Yes, the very same.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
But beyond the tea, he was the prime minister, and the history behind that monument is heavy. The sources note his government passed the 1832 Reform Bill, which totally overhauled the British electoral system.
And even more significantly, his administration oversaw the abolition of slavery across much of the British Empire.
Right. So you have this towering monument to human rights and political reform anchoring the street.
Yet the true commercial and social centerpiece of Grainger's vision was Grainger Market.
Oh, I loved reading about the market.
The area previously housed the old flesh market.
Which sounds lovely.
Right. It was exactly as unappealing and unsanitary as the name suggests, so Grainger wanted to demolish it and build a commercial cathedral.
And a cathedral is really the right word for it. When Grainger Market opened in 1835, they threw a banquet for 2,000 people inside the vegetable hall just to celebrate.
It was a massive event.
It was essentially an early 19th century super mall. 2 acres of retail space, 4 massive avenues stretching 338 feet long, housing 180 different butcher shops.
A huge undertaking.
But the detail that really caught my eye was the design. They used local Kenton stone, but they deliberately styled the foundations to mimic the Borghese Palace in Rome.
That architectural choice tells you everything you need to know about their civic psychology at the time. I mean, why does a northern English coal town want to look like a Roman palace?
Right, why bother?
Because Newcastle was declaring its ambition to the world. It was refusing to be categorized merely as a grimy, functional workers' hub. By invoking Rome, Newcastle was demanding to be viewed alongside the great, elegant metropolises of Europe.
That's a huge statement. And if you visit Grainger Market today, you are completely immersed in that collision of eras.
Oh, absolutely.